We'll have our president speak before we continue. So the floor is all yours.
AGN, AGN, AGN. I will say that I was impressively flabbergasted when I got in here, and it turned out to be that the tricks from Ajabo and Co. was to lure me into a place of celebration. My joy know no bounds. I will just lead us through a little history of how it has been. It will take somebody who has passed through the problems we have in this guild to begin to change the narrative. One, there is a God factor, because God determines what every human being does. Then two, if you were among those that were hanging around Winnies and ECOWAS, and they make you president of this guild, you must know what to do, because you know where the problems started. But when we came on board, I didn't want to start with execution, because the problem of actors in Nigeria or in Nollywood can be likened to what happened in the book of Judges. If you know that story about Gideon, the Bible says that the affliction of the Philistines against Israel was so much that if the Israelites plant yam, the Philistines come and remove the yam that was supposed to start germinating and go and eat it. And then the Israelites cannot confront them because they didn't have the power to confront them. They were like slaves. The average actor's problem got to this crescendo where you cannot ask for what is due to you. In a situation where you are filming in a location and you are hungry, you dare not say you are hungry. Because if you say you are hungry, other actors around you will be pinching you like, are you sure you are among us? Don't say this, so I mean, you don't want them to feed us again. At that point, you cannot call for what is your right. If you're owed as an artist, you cannot ask for your money. How can you be an actor over 170 films and you do not have royalty, you do not have residuals, and your product is being marketed around the globe in countries you didn't participate, and you cannot ask for it? That was the point we got to. And nobody can ask for it. Now people are asking, who will bail the cat? You see people moving around the whole country as actors. They can't feed themselves. You would have appeared in 140 films. You can't build a house. You don't have a car of your own. And when you fall sick, you have to crowdfund to get treatment. And then when somebody comes up to say, I am donating 10 million naira to this sick actor, everybody begins to clap. Whereas if it's supposed to be the actor donating 10 million naira to sick person. And you think the internet does forget. The internet doesn't forget. If I bring myself out to any place to be crowdfunded, to be taking care of my illness, it will not be up to 20 years. My kids will see it on the internet. And they will ask you, Daddy, does it mean our school fees are being paid by people who crowdfunded? That was the level that we got to. But I got to a position where that if I begin to fight it, even the people you want to protect will fight you back because they don't understand the difference. It can be likened to what is happening in Nigeria today, where you are yearning for good leadership, and the people whom you have been serving over the years We keep making you understand that you cannot go nowhere because we have money. We have created poverty in the land. So if you don't vote us, you keep having problems. That was the level of the average actor. And I knew that the job to be done was something I would do without fear or favor. Then our first assignment was, let us make our guild visible. Because if we are not visible before government, before corporate bodies, before brands, nobody will take us seriously. And we started by building bridges, both with government, both with brands, both with corporate bodies. Forget about the stardom. The stardom is just transient. We have had people who have been stars over time. None of you here will forget easily who Liz Benson was. Many years ago, she was a screen diva that every senator, every government functionary wanted to meet in person. I am sure also that all of you here know her story today, as long as stardom is concerned. That is the same thing that will happen to everybody who have attained stardom, because stardom, money, all of these things are transient things. They will pass away. But the legacies you leave behind are the things that will encourage people to move. So everybody today who is basking in the euphoria of, I am a star, I am a star, I am a star, it will just take you full years. We all knew what Kanu one called the JJ cultures, all of these footballers did in our football terrain few years back. But you cannot talk about them in the present time. So the stardom and the activities and privileges of who we are does not meet in the same parallel line. We needed to differentiate all of this, because when you get to this point, even the star does not understand what is happening to him. When we continue to build bridges, the bridges began to yield the respectability that we are getting today. You all knew what happened when the military people molested one of us, Chief Chiwetalago. When Chiwetalago was molested by the military, we did not spend money to bring him out from the military. We only showed strength of who we are. I am the president. I sat one place. I was just making calls. I was just sending him to the military, sending him to DSS, sending the director of public relations. It was an attempt to see the level of bridges we had built, how it was going to yield for us. Lo and behold, when Chiwetalago was to be released, DSS said, if not because your guild intervened through your president, we would have left you here for years. They told him, they said, your guild had built a relationship with the DSS that we cannot afford to turn them down at this point in time. I knew we were gradually getting there. We began to do stuffs that we needed to do for the guild. We set up an HMO scheme. This HMO scheme is such that you have 600 hospitals in Nigeria where you can get what you need to get in terms of medical care. We set up a trust fund, which Joke Silva is the chairman of the trust fund. Our website has a back end with all the embassies in Nigeria. So if you say you're an actor, the embassy will know whether you're an actor or not. They don't even need to call me on phone because the back end is there. Because today, one of the problems we are having is that we are being invaded by people who claim to be in our business. Every village you enter in Nigeria, people are carrying cameras, answering Nollywood, spoiling the reputation that they have built over the years. We needed to check all of this. And that has been the process. Lo and behold, just out of the blues, I got a phone call through Ajabo, and then I got a letter from the federal government telling me that I have just been nominated to be conferred with an award, Member of Order of the Niger, MON. And that simply made me understand that we are really breaking the rock. And that's just the beginning. Now that we have made our guild this visible, it is time for all of us to put our hands together as a union. What is the unionism? You saw ASU going on strike, battling government. Who said we cannot go on strike and say, we will not act again if you cannot give us this and give us that? Let me tell you, if you want to replicate an Ngozi Ezeonu, it will take you years to replicate her.
And it can never be like
That's it. But because over the years we have refused to build this union, even when you go to an Ngozi and say, Ngozi, don't work on Friday, oh, she will accept. But in her mind, she will tell me, if I no work, are you sure Norma will not go and work? Because that's always the fear. I call you for a job and I say, take 100. I say, no, it's too small. As you're leaving, they call somebody else and give the person 10,000. And the person goes to work. But when we build this union and we say this, and all of us agrees to it, they begin to take our matter seriously. We have gotten to that point, ladies and gentlemen, where I need you to work with us to make it better. Because if you pretend that it does not affect you because you think you're already a star, 15, 20 years, you will no longer be the star. Your child, your cousin, your relative, your nephew may be in this business. And he will be asking you, what did you do that time? You may fall sick, God forbid, and there will not be a system to take care of your illness. Why? Because when you had the opportunity, you couldn't do anything. You felt less concerned. On a final note, I want to quickly do something that just came spontaneously. Because please, can you come? He just made a statement a few minutes ago, and that statement states that he was made a national patron many years ago. When I came on board, the last regime didn't possibly present documents to reflect that he was a national patron. We had issues in relating to that. And now that he has mentioned it again, with the powers conferred on me by the Board of Trustees of the Actors Guild of Nigeria, the National Executive Council, and the entire membership of our noble guild, I hereby restore him back to that national position. So, in Edo State, at the Nollywood Actors Summit coming up on 21, 22, and 23 of November, he will officially receive his plaque and the dress for national patrons. All he needs to know is that the financial demand has increased. It's no longer that time. You know, dollar is 700 and something now. So things have changed. So even as we are planning the summit now, patrons are running helter-skelter, making sure that they put few millions together. But you know, the summit is designed in a way that all the political parties, presidential candidates in Nigeria will come to tell us what their blueprint for the creative industry is. Listen, if we have a Muslim bank in Nigeria, we have an agriculture bank, we are supposed to have a bank that takes care of the creatives. So that all of these small films you're making, small or big, that you are putting into YouTube, you can have access to a bank facility to aid you. And let me tell you, the government everywhere in the world, democracy-wise, what you didn't request for doesn't come to you. If you people like make film in Asaba, shoot 2 billion films, if you don't prepare yourself and lobby government to hear you, nobody will listen to you. You will be doing your thing. If the only thing that will save you is maybe if something like NSAS happens, and you see that NSAS happened, it still didn't change anything. Democracy is about lobby. The industry must create lobby groups to help them lobby for what they want. Nollywood, in the last 25 years, they have not been able to corporately present a viable proposal to any businessman in this country. If Dangote could go to Obajana and put in how many $1 billion to set up a cement industry, that same person can come to Asaba and put billions of dollars and set up a film village. You can imagine that in Asaba today, we have individuals who have set up film houses and they are producing wonderful things in those film houses. So it's just for us to understand the right thing. And now that we have people who are working with us to see that these things work, the only thing we owe is let all of us come together and leave all this I don't care attitude. We went to Leo Mezier's burial. If we didn't go there, no Nollywood person would have been there. What impression would we have left for the Umaya people? I was asking, Leo Mezier, apart from us, he had people who were his friends in the movie industry. So they couldn't even galvanize noise about the burial and see that people goes there. It was an eyesore. But thank God, after the award in Abuja, I left. I didn't even go to Lagos. I said, Leo Mezier, one of us. We cannot leave one of us to go like that. As we were stepping in there, it was raining. As we sat down, it didn't rain again till we left. One of the brothers said that why it was raining was because in the morning, they didn't see us. And wherever Leo was, that Leo was crying, saying, where are my people? And that when we came, that rain stopped because Leo's mind was at rest. And that rain didn't stop again. It was quite symbolic to pick out. So let us have a change of heart. Let us build this relationship. Forget unnecessary beefing because the sky is too large for all birds to fly. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for this special arrangement. Thank you for this hosting. Thank you for all of you that felt it was right for us to do this. May God bless you, replenish you abundantly in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have limited time. So for the furtherance of this gathering, I would like Mr. Ajebo and the state chapter chairman, the person of Mr. Emmanuel, to together go to the buffet stand with the president to pick their meal, and then every other person follows.
Please add the petrol. So